All right, everybody, you hear the music. That would be my daughter, Prestyn, who put that together, wrote it, and produced it for us. So we appreciate it. Seems like a lot of people are enjoying hearing that. It lets them know that Believe in Chargers is on the way when they hear the sweet guitar riff there. You can follow her in the links to her social media feeds if you want to kind of see what she's up to. So I appreciate Lindsay putting that together. And those of you that are saying all the nice things about her, a reminder that Believe in Chargers is presented by BetOnline. We love our friends over at BetOnline, and they got everything. It's the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for online betting, earliest odds, in-game live betting. BetOnline provides you with all the action, the ability to watch the games as they happen. It's the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Get over to BetOnline today, I should say, to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. Lo, we dug into the Bengals game a little bit earlier. Got a handful of mailbag questions from the people. If you're interested in digging into some of those,
let's do it.
All right, Lo. Let's get to the people. They do it on Reddit. They do it on YouTube. We appreciate it all. A bunch of questions. Try to get in there and respond as best I can. I'll usually go in once. Sometimes I'll go in twice. But here we go. A lot of these. And I get a lot of these on Instagram and a lot of these on Twitter. And it's, is there any chance we keep Minter at least one more season? The defense is rocking. It would be a shame not to have him as the DC assistant head coach for the Bolts. Jim Harbaugh was asked it at his presser, and he basically said he's going to be a head coach. I'm probably going to be coaching against him. He's incredible, and you're never going to hold your guy back. You're going to do everything you can to promote him. You want that to happen. But the way he's coached these guys up, the collection of guys that he's had to bring in low, he's got a very good chance to win the coordinator, the assistant coach of the year award that they give out at the end of every year. He's going to be right in the mix with one or two other guys.
Yeah, and kudos to Harbaugh by taking a chance and bringing Minter in and thinking, okay, can this guy coach at the college level, the pro level, and make this transition? This goes to tell you, football's football. It's only one ball. It's only one guy can get it at one time. See ball, get ball. It's simple. Here's Minter coming in and saying, okay, Harbaugh gives him the keys and says, go ahead, create this, make this defense great again. And look at this Chargers defense. Look what they've been able to do. Look at the way the guys that he has on that team. A bunch of guys that, now we're talking about them as superstars. But like you talked about, it's been a collective group. It's been a collective what they've been able to do. It's going to be hard. I'm with the fans. I wish they could. But the chance is slim to none, and none has probably left the building.
Yeah, and it's also college. It's not just the NFL. He's going to get a head coaching opportunity either in the NCAA or in the NFL. That will be presented to him. It's up to him whether or not it's a good enough, like I just look at what Coach Signetti's doing at IU, right? Here's a guy that's been a winner, that wins, that has a great sort of foundation of how he builds a team. Indiana 10-0 for the first time in the history of the program. And you can see how quickly things can flip. And he's such a dynamic personality to sit with. He's a great communicator. He's got everything. He's a head coach. So that said, look at Sean McVay. Yeah. Look at what he's done and look at how he's been able just to drop coaches in, and he's got a real good eye. There is something to that. Do you have an eye for talent when it comes to coaches? And if Jesse goes, then I'm sure coach will find somebody else that is, that's great. That will do great things. And you think about Kyle Shanahan and what he's been able to do with the 49ers, all the assistants he's been able to bring in, and Mike McDaniel and KOC, and for that matter, McVay and Robert Saleh and all these great, coaches on the defense or offensive side of the ball. And I would assume Harbaugh's just one of them. Do I want Jesse Minter to say yes? But Jesse Minter probably wants to be a head coach. That's where he wants to climb to, and I want that for him as well because he's certainly earned it. This for you, Lo. I want to ask Lo, what do you think of Matlock's development? Do you see him phasing out of defense and sticking to special teams fullback? What do you think?
I think he's going to have that choice. I think I think with what Harbaugh wants to do, he's doing a great job. I'm watching him on leads, watching him block. He's come a long ways. I think you keep him. I think that he understands he's at Army Swiss knives. He can play both ways. Yeah. Enjoy it. If I'm a young guy like that, if I could go back in time, I would love that play for Harbaugh. Because you know what? I believe I would have played both ways. And I wish that I had that opportunity. In college, I had a couple of opportunities because they wanted me for defense. I wish, because Harbaugh understands. He can look at a guy and say, okay, this guy can handle it. And Harbaugh's taking advantage of it. He's got a player that he's playing a fullback type of salary, getting a guy, and he's got a defensive lineman. He's got an extra one guy that's playing two positions. What does that do for your team? So I think he sticks with it. Why not? He's doing a great job. Why not?
And by the way, go back to the 2023 draft. We were talking about Quentin, how everybody thought he was a bust, right? Quentin's got 5 touchdowns, right? It's your first round pick. Second round pick, Tuli's got 6 sacks. He's one of the best defensive ends, like full service, run stopping, contain, pressure the passer. Third round pick. I'm damn sure that Deion Henley's in the Pro Bowl because he is playing. There you go. Ring the bell. That's your third round pick, right?
Right.
The fourth round pick is a Pro Bowl punt returner, Darius Davis, right? He was, the players voted him the best punt returner in the game last year. And now your sixth round pick is going to be the Pro Bowl fullback because nobody else plays fullback. And he's playing at a pretty good level. Like, that's one draft class. And that's how you build a team. And then you look at this year, right? Ladd McConkey, Joe Alt, 2 fifth-round corners out there playing. Like, it's all about the draft, man. You look at the Rams on Monday night. They sign a center for $60 million, and he's going to get benched. They sign a tight end in Colby Parkinson for $25 million. He gets 10 snaps, doesn't play. They sign Tre'Davious White as a corner, already traded. Like, got to draft, develop. That's how you build a team. That's how you win games. And then you sprinkle in the free agents to supplement that. And every now and then you get lucky, right? Pona Ford, Christian Fulton, like those sort of things. Guys, question for you both. Realistic for the Bolts to overtake the Chiefs and win the West? If so, what's it going to take?
A miracle.
Yeah, I mean,
they're out in front.
They got
meltdown. Kansas City's got a meltdown. They're undefeated. They'll probably lose this week against Buffalo. So, but it would take them to lose 4 or 5 games, and that's probably not.
Well, they have to. Yeah, I mean, here's what it would take. To be honest, they need to lose 2 games along the way. And here, let's see what their schedule looks like. So basically, if we're just speaking factually, they need to lose 2 games, and the Chargers need to beat them on December 8th, and that's all. That's it. As long as, and then the Chargers have to win out. Like, the Chargers cannot lose a game the rest of the year. They need to beat them on December 8th, and they need the Chiefs to have at least 3 losses. If they do that, they'll win the tiebreaker because they'll have less losses in conference, and that's it. That's what they have to do. So you mentioned they're going to Buffalo. After that, Carolina, Vegas. They get us on a Sunday nighter in December in Kansas City. After that, Cleveland. Houston is shaky at best right now. Then they go to Pittsburgh, to Denver. It's
Steelers. Steelers, they lose. I think Buffalo and the Steelers, they lose. I just
okay.
Don't
so there you go.
I just don't.
That's how you win.
Yeah, I just don't think the Chargers I think you got to split these 2 games. Now you got to be realistic for the Chargers. You got to find a way.
Question, that's what it is.
You got to find a way to beat either the team you're playing right now or Baltimore. You either got to beat the Cincinnati Bengals and Baltimore. If some way you can pull both those off, then you got a great chance of running the table. But let's be honest, you're getting ready to pay 2 teams that can light it up. If there's 21 points and more, I don't know after this. I don't know after this next 2 weeks. Does our thing, if this team scored 21, would they had won be undefeated? I don't know if we can say that. I don't know if the next 2 weeks, if we can say that the next 2 weeks and they lose or win, it doesn't matter. I think this defense is unbelievable. So I don't think that statement holds up the next 2 weeks.
Here's why I think it might. Here's Arizona the last 3 weeks. 28, 29, 31 points. That's what they've done the last 3 weeks. That's what they put on the board. Chargers held them to 17. You go to Kansas City, and I know the offense has not been great, but at the same time, 30, 27, 28, 26. Those are the 4 games after the Chargers held them to 17. Like, it's a good defense, man.
It's a great defense.
Good freaking defense. And so the idea, and look, could it happen? Yes. Joe Burrow's, he's a generational talent. And they have put up 38, 17, 21, 17, 41, 34. So they've shown
Yeah.
Peaks, valleys.
True.
They can be a 17-point team. The Baltimore offense has been an absolute buzzsaw this year. That's the one that you point at and you're like, okay, if they can do it there, somebody might hire Jesse Minter in the middle of the season to be head coach if they can do it.
Right.
Like, I don't think people realize how far and away Baltimore's offense is from everybody else in the league. Like that, what they're doing on offense, 35, 41, 24, 41, 30, 41, 35, 28. That's what they're like. Lamar Jackson's numbers are so far and away ahead of everybody else right now. It's crazy what they're doing. So if Minter can do that, and that's what makes it interesting, right? Is who knows that team better than this staff? Like, no, Greg Roman was their OC. Minter was their DB's coach. John is Jim's brother. He's been around the Ravens, and they've traded coaches for. That's what's going to make that game real interesting is the intimate knowledge of how they want to do things. Because it's basically a sibling rivalry. Like you know your brother. You know
it's awesome.
What all his moves are when you're out on the driveway playing basketball with him. And there's nothing going to fool you. Right. So that's what's going to make that one interesting. By
the way, I love the Chargers defense over Baltimore. Give me the Chargers defense. I think Baltimore's defense has struggled.
Oh, it's been leaky.
Struggled a lot. It's leaky.
Yeah. Super leaky. As someone says, I look like Mark Wahlberg. That's ridiculous. No, I don't. But
good looking dude.
He is, and I'm not. But the Chargers potentially have a home playoff game. That answers the question. That's what it would take. Is they're going to have to win out, and they're going to have to, hope that the two games the Chiefs lose are Pittsburgh and Buffalo, and that way, because one of the three losses for the Chargers would be against an NFC team in Arizona. That works out for them. That's how they get it, because they'll have the same record in division, and unless of course they lose to Denver or something like that. That's kind of what we're talking about. Here we go. Chark, wide receiver 5 or 6. Is he? Wasn't he activated? Didn't get snaps. I think that's what coach said after the game. He said, I like our rotation right now. It's nothing against DJ. It's more just what the other guys are doing.
Right.
Not a question, but a comment. Lowe made my youngest son's day and mine too. Training camp, went out of his way to walk up to him amongst the horde of fans, give him an autograph. Might have helped that I bellowed his name and he gave me the stink eye before walking over. Great player, great man.
What? I didn't give you the stink eye. I gave you a smile. What do you mean? Come on.
Exactly. Lowe's a man of the people. You holler at him, and he's absolutely going to come over. This one is. I get this a lot because the Chargers, they take videos of us in the booth, and I think people see this when I'm doing it. This is I don't keep them anymore, but I used to keep them all. So this is an old one. This is one, heck, you might even be on this chart, Low.
Wow.
No, Derek Watts on here is the fullback. But so like, what is that thing? This is from Hokey Duck. I saw the folder you're using in the booth, had all your info. How do you organize it? Was the question. So here's kind of a look at it.
Okay.
It's a legal folder, and it's got names on both sides. And so one side, here we go, it's upside down. One side's the offense, one side's the defense. It's organized numerically, offensive line. So it's wide receivers in numerical order. It's running backs in numerical order, and fullbacks. It's quarterbacks. There's the specialists, offensive line right across the top. And then here's D-line, and then just 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Some stats, Chargers defensive ranks. Here's some head coach stats. There's offensive ranks, and then each player has like notes on it. Like here's Robbie Anderson. He's got 25 plus yard receptions. He's got a TD and 5 straight from week 7 to week 12. Week 12, he had 146 and 2 TDs. So it's just notes like that. Here's Wesley Johnson, played with Casey Hayward at Vanderbilt. So it's like just things like that you put on there.
Very detailed. Look at money. I like that.
There you go. So that's from Hokey Duck. He's got more. I projected 11 wins. It looks really possible. Still lay coin on an 11-win season on Bet Online, of course. Thank you, Hokey Duck. Look, I mean, they're 6-3. They finish 5-2, and there it is. Or 5-3, and there it is. 11-6. Take it. 10-7, 11, I think 10-7 gets you into the. All this team's got to do is get into the tournament. I got no questions that they can play on the road and win games on the road. That's, it's nice to get the bye if you're the number 1 seed and play one less playoff game. That's the real advantage. It's not necessary. It's not baseball. Baseball, you build teams for your stadium. the wind and the fences and all of that sort of stuff. Is it a defensive ballpark? Is it an offensive ballpark? And football, is what it is, man. It's the same size. It's the same. Yeah, there's elements involved and stuff like that. But for the most part, we've seen plenty of teams win on the road and get their, Tom Brady, wild card team, find your way to the Super Bowl. It happens. Joe Burrow and the Bengals had to go to Kansas City and win at Arrowhead in order to get to a Super Bowl. Same with the Rams, had to go to Tampa, win there in order to get to the Super Bowl. So yeah, that's here we go. JK not gotten the credit he deserves in pass pro. He's blowing guys up. I'll let you have that one low. J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, he does a great job in pass pro. We watch him drop his hips. He sees what he's hitting. A lot of running backs, they go in pass pro and they drop their head. You drop the head and they get swim over. He's stepping up, stoning guys in the hole, not giving them a two-way go. When you watch him step up in the hole, he understands if I can stop him at the hole, now he's not giving a two-way, kind of push him in alignment. So he does a great job of getting squared up and playing low in those situations.
This one says, game plan, chew up time on offense, keep the defense rested in attack mode. Do you see us going up tempo at all this season to put a team on their heels? So I think the first statement is every team wants to do that. they all want to chew clock on offense and keep the ball out of the opposing offense's hands. So yeah, thing is, not a lot of people do it anymore. Although it's pendulum is swinging back a little bit. You're seeing with the Eagles and Saquon going out and giving him a big money deal, the Ravens and Derrick Henry and giving him a big money deal. The Falcons are, playing good football. Bijan's got a ton of touches, and he's the focal point of their offense. You're starting to see that, and that's what teams want to do. As far as up tempo, they've done it a little bit. They don't do it a lot, but they've done it a little bit, and certainly not as much as they have in the past. But yeah, I think any advantage that Greg Roman could find, he's going to take.
Yeah, no question. I'm going to derail this real quick. If you had both these guys in their prime, Derrick Henry or Saquon, who are you taking?
Wow,
didn't see that one coming, did you?
Yeah, it's just because they're so different, right? Derrick Henry's never on the field for a third down. So, but at the same time, on first and second down, he's an absolute wrecking machine. So, and if you take health out of it, if you say, hey, both are going to be healthy for 17 games every season in a full playoffs, give me Saquon. He's just, it's health that's dogged him.
I'm with you. Because he just does more. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He's strong too. He's physical. He's not as strong as Henry, but he's tough.
Yeah, I mean, look, they signed him as a free agent. He's the centerpiece of their offense now. They got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. The way Hurts can run. By the way, Hurts he's gonna rush for. I think he might even be at double digits. I don't know what he's at. He's way up there though. Hurts is gonna run for 12, 15 touchdowns with Saquon in the backfield. They have kind of gotten back to what they were, and it's just, hey, slow down the ground game, man. It's coming. And the second you stop and you're looking at it, bang, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, it's a good team. That's a really, really good team. And I would not be surprised if they're nipping on the heels of the Lions by the end of this thing. Play Burrow, Lamar, Kirk, Mahomes, Mayfield, next 5. How many wins? I think we kind of already went through that. You got to win 10 games. Win them however you win them. Knock off whoever you knock off. How do you guys prepare to watch games? How much time do you spend studying the upcoming opponent? It's different for me because, Lowe is preparing for this and obviously you're doing other stuff as well, other teams in the league. But yeah, I guess just for me, it's probably, 8 hours. Wow. Maybe that would be my guess, 8 to 10 hours between. I go back and watch usually the 2 games prior for the opponent. If I don't get what I want out of it, I'll go one more back. That's not necessarily something that I really need to do as the play-by-play guy. It's more for the analyst, but it just helps me kind of get used to what formations they're in, where a guy's going to be, where's he looking, so I can kind of commit to memory what the numbers are and who is who, so I don't have to keep looking down at my charts to figure out, who Joe Burrow's throwing to or which running back is in the game. Is now that they've acquired Herbert, is that Herbert? Is that Chase? Who is it? That sort of stuff. So I'll do that. That usually takes a couple hours. I'll go back through the previous game from the Chargers, and then putting together all the stats and digging into all that's 5-6 hours. So that's what I tend to do.
I love it because I have the NFL package, so I can go back and I can watch every game. So I can watch it on all 22. I do the shortened version where you get a little bit of announcing, but it's cut to the next play. So I can get through a game in 30 minutes. I'll go back and definitely go watch the games and watch what they're doing So I'd spend probably like hour and a half watching games. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the PFF does a really cool thing where I can just separate everything by plays. So I can just watch every one of Trey Hendrickson's pass rushes. I can watch every
Wow.
one of, Joe Burrow's 20-plus yard passes. I can watch every one of, I can watch every, like it's that easy. It's,
Wow.
every tackle from Deion Henley. Like you can separate it that way, and you just go through games that way. And it's like, all right, let's see what Trey did in this game pressure wise. So makes it a little bit easier and saves a lot of time. Like before when you were watching film, take a while. Do we truly have a lack of weapons for Herbert? And Interior has been rocky. Can we make a strong push with them with the current running back, wide receiver, tight end core? Go ahead, Lo. I'll let you start. I've been starting all these.
No, I think you can make a push. I think you look at what they've been able to do the last couple of weeks. I think they're getting better. If you would, you asked me this 6-7 weeks ago, you say, go get me a receiver, go get me another proven tight end. But you're just watching these guys rounding the form and watching guys say, hey, look, we're stepping up. They're finding ways to get open, and they're doing it against good teams. I think the question mark would be, how far can you go? I think you get in the playoffs. I think that this is a playoff team, especially the way your defense is. And if you continue to play defense, you can win it all because if the defense can maintain. Offense, I think, is right now, it's starting to catch up. You got enough running backs. I think you can do it, staying healthy. The question mark, if you said, what is the glaring that if you just wish was a little bit better, and he still can get better, is tight end. Can you have a tight end that can be just a little bit more consistent? Because he's getting open. Just make the catches now. If you can fix that problem, Disley is beating guys, and he's finding a way to get open. It's about catching the ball now.
Yeah, I think you look at Disley, and it's there was a play in that game where he threw to Disley in the left flat, and it went for like 3 yards. And you look at it, and you're like, man,
struggle.
If that's Trey McBride, if that's George Kittle, if that's Sam Laporte, if that's Dalton Kincaid, that thing might go to the house. And it's a different type of tight end. Disley is one of the best blocking tight ends in the league. He's going to get you a couple catches here and there, and pick up first downs, but that explosive tight end. And by the way, there's a handful of them in the draft this year. So there's, one that Harbaugh is certainly very familiar with out of Michigan, guy out of Penn State. So there's some tight ends that'll be available. Yeah, I think you're right. That's just the one thing. And it's just because it's such a position where
right.
it's different strokes for different folks. What do you want from your tight end? And I think that's the one thing that they thought Hayden Hurst was going to be able to do. He takes that hit in the preseason and just hasn't quite been the same since. They were hoping that he was going to be that guy, and he has been that guy in the past. And unfortunately, I think it's just health. He's trying to catch up and get back to that spot. Trying to think where we at. Interior. Yeah, you know what? I think that's probably good.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit. Just trying to see, run more option, blitz more. That's all. Oh, here we go. Let's get this. Let's finish with this. Lowe, you were known for devastating blocks as a fullback. Specific moment in your career where you knew your role as a lead blocker was making a huge impact on the game.
Yeah, I think it goes back my first year playing against the Atlanta Falcons, going against Jesse Tuggle. It's actually the second year after I broke my ankle, I became more of a blocker because when I first year, I'm leading the league in rushing those first two games, 90 yards against the Oilers, 100 yards against, Atlanta. But then when I broke the ankle, I couldn't cut. I could just round off. I didn't feel as aggressive. I remember Jim Moore brought me in his office and he sat down with me. He said, look, I know you wanted to run the ball. You were freaking last year lighting up the league. He said, you can make a good living if you really concentrate and get over running the ball, get out of your way and concentrating on being a devastating blocker. Jim Moore, that was the best piece of advice. He sat me in his office, me and him one-on-one. And he said, you got to make a decision. I know you want to run the ball and get back to where you used to be, but you're not. I'm just telling you right now, Lorenzo, you're not. Dilly, it's horseshit. You can make a good living if you just really concentrate on just block and just focus on it. You can be good. You're built right. You're tough. You're a tough guy. Hey, I wouldn't want to fight you. You're a mean guy. I'm telling you, you can do it. So I'm not bad, right? Not bad for Jim Moore.
That's a good Mora. That's a good Mora.
In that moment,
yeah,
I remember leaving that room and saying, wow, he cares about me. He's trying to keep me in this league. And I remember just going out and after practice, getting on the bag, getting with my coaches, Skipper. And I remember just going into games and playing with so much anger because I wasn't running the ball, taking my frustration out because I wasn't touching it. And I'm like, I'm going to make people pay. If you come in here, you're going to get a headache. I'm going to try to knock you out. And that's why the guys on the Chargers call me Ram Man. Because remember that little
He-Man, yeah, Ram Man.
Yeah, I just dip down, I dip, and I would just jump into you. I'd explode, get dip, lift, and just explode into guys and just rock them because they're not used to that kind of explosion, just jumping. So that's when I just made that transition to be a mean guy.
Good stuff. Keep the questions coming. Absolutely appreciate all of you. The compliments are great. We read them and we love them. And let's see. Oh, that's funny. I got to go in and say, I think these are the Reddit ones. Someone talking to me about where I grew up. He taught at the middle school I went to where I wrestled at. Said,
Okay.
You grew up in Hammond and you wrestled against Bone. I taught at Eggers. I went to Eggers. So there you go. What a Reddit person. Yes, I was an Eggers Knight. So there you go. Green and gold. Wrestling, 70 pounds and under. This guy right here, all the way to the city finals.
Got it done.
That little Latino fire hydrant from Spone. God. All the way to the city finals. And I don't get
to the championship. You got stuff. We're not going to talk about but you got there.
Just humiliates me. I come off the mat. All the way to the city finals. All right, everybody. We appreciate you. Totally appreciate you. And keep the questions coming. I know we didn't get to them all, but we'll try. We'll be back next week after what we hope is a big win over the Bengals and coming up on a Monday nighter against the Ravens. Very exciting time. Bolts have won 3 in a row, 4 of 5, and we'll keep it coming with Believe in Chargers. Rate, leave a comment, all of that. Reddit community, appreciate you all. Certainly the Reddit community of Chargers, I got to dip in there a little bit more, so we appreciate you. Lo, always great to see you, and let's get this win. It'd be huge. And
God, we need this one.
Exactly right. All right, we'll be back next week.
Cheers. No worries. Thanks, Money. You're the best.